A Thousand Ways to Die is a black comedy, docufiction anthology show that aired on Spike TV from May 14th, 2008 to July 15th, 2012. The show garnered decent reviews on places like IMDb, where it got a 6.8 out of 10, which kind of feels like it's better than what the show deserves. So, okay, user reviews. The show is about, well, as the title puts it, A Thousand Ways to Die. Usually at the beginning of the show that they state that these are recreations of real deaths, despite it being overly dramatized to the point of parody, and some of them are even bullshit. I've looked on the wiki. Some of them just are made up completely. The comedy aspect of the show comes from its almost comedic-like deaths, its god-awful acting, and its adult film-esque cinematography. Case in point.
Oh, hi, Baxter. How are you?
Mind shutting up your dog?
Oh, he's just a dog. You know dogs.
I'm not getting no airplane.
The show is also narrated by Ron Perlman, which is just an interesting fact. It kind of feels like I'm playing a Fallout ending when I watch the show, because he is constantly speaking. They also bring experts on the show to give insight into what is happening and why it would kill you. They also talk about the person's mindset and why they're doing this. But one of the experts, I doubt his credentials. We'll get into that later. To put it frankly, the show is hilarious and terrible. I'm going to be breaking down 3 segments to illustrate a few points. 1, how hilariously bad the show can be. 2, how the show can sometimes be based on real deaths. And 3, how fucking traumatizing the show can be. There are a lot of deaths in this show, so don't be sad if I didn't pick your favorite. Just leave a comment telling me what your favorite is, and yeah, I'll check it out. The show also gives really dumb joke names to a lot of these segments, like Vomit Death, which the synopsis makes it sound absolutely horrifying, and Titty Titty Bang Bang, which is all about a girl's fake boobs exploding on a plane. The first death I'm going to be breaking down is called Work a Fart. So it starts out with some fat lard going absolutely beast mode on an incline bench. We get told that he's training for his frat house's annual fart competition, which I don't know what a fart competition is, and I don't really want to know what a fart competition is. Then we get to see our first expert, and this is the man that I was talking about earlier. You see this dude, Sergio Alvarado? He doesn't exist. I cannot find a single trace of him that does not lead back to this episode of A Thousand Ways to Die. Everything I've searched up about him is fake, baloney, bullshit. He claims to be a fart competitor. I can't find a single fart competition he's been in. Man's basically a fart in the wind. So Arnold, the fat dude who's training, lost his last frat house's fart competition to the Japanese exchange student. So he hired a man named Max Beers, the gas master, to train him for the next competition. I don't know how Max got the title gas master without it being some sort of fetish stuff. Max's training consists of Arnold eating a metric ass load of food, sticking things like tennis balls up his ass, and crushing empty beer cans with what Ron Perlman describes as
vice grip butt cheeks.
Which I might add, big if true. The show explains that farts have methane, and that methane is combustible. You don't need to be a rocket surgeon to see where this is going. Max holds a lighter up to Arnold's ass, and Arnold proceeds to rip the biggest fart known to man, and then launches a fireball out and sets Max on fire. Max just flails around while Arnold does nothing. We then get to see an expert named Dr. Steve Kim, who I did check, and yes, he is a real person. Steve Kim explains that while lighting farts on fire can be potentially dangerous, then the show proceeds to cut him off mid-sentence. I think he was gonna say, something like this cannot happen in real life. We get the best line of the show from this episode, where Arnold says,
"Oh my god, my fart killed you!"
as Arnold proceeds to do nothing about his coach's burning body in his room. Before I start the next segment, I want to go over some funny things that I found while researching this show. For starters, they've reused some of the death names like Blown Job and Handicapped, which yeah, you could be more creative than that, but the unexcusable thing that they've done is that they've reused some of the numbers. And it's not like just a once or twice kind of thing, it's happened 16 times, and 7 of those times comes from the number 412. I don't know what their fascination with that number is, but yeah, it's fucking hard to research. It's not like they ran out of numbers, because there's only 497 deaths on the show. That leaves 503 numbers unaccounted for, or more specifically, 519, because they've reused 16 numbers. Anyways, dumb side rant over. I just think it's dumb they've reused numbers. The next segment is very special to me because it deals with
the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
First of all, the fucking segment is called GameStop, and that got an audible chuckle out of me when I first read it. But this is like my 19th time reading this script, and I no longer chuckle. Second of all, this game looks like deep fried ass. Supposedly this clip takes place in 2008, which is when games like Metal Gear Solid 4, Call of Duty World at War, and fucking Left 4 Dead 1 came out. Why does the game look like this? You could have used better fucking CGI. Anyways, the show explains that this man is a gamer and that his diet consists of junk food and he has a specially made toilet seat so he can use the restroom while he games. It also explains that he's playing this terrible game for a tournament to crown the best in the world at this game. How is he playing an FPS with a flight stick? Beats me. In fact, how is everybody competing in this tournament when everybody else is using a different controller as well? Okay, get this. The expert they bring on for this episode is Pat the NES Punk. How did they get him on here and why is he the expert on gamer culture? Could not tell ya. So the gamers have their tournament and most of them get knocked out by my man's Pimple Pete over here until it comes down to him versus the girl. The girl's name is Tina, and Tina absolutely kicks his ass, and out of a fit of gamer rage, my man stands up. But because he stood up, he broke a sacred oath to the gaming gods, and they struck him down and sent a blood clot from his leg to his heart, instantly killing him. I just want to know why he had to sit long enough that blood clots formed in his leg and nobody else did. Tina's over here looking fine while my man's over here looking like a sweaty armpit. I know this death was kind of lame, but I wanted to bring it up because it's basically based on a true story. In 2005 in South Korea, a man named Lee Seong-sop played StarCraft for 50 hours consecutively and he fucking died of heart failure from exhaustion and dehydration. This is proof not to game more than 12 hours a day, kids. Game responsibly. The last segment I want to talk about is the entire reason I wanted to make this video. This is the segment that made 1000 Ways to Die stick in my brain forever. So it's called Chucked Up, and it's rather fucked up. So it starts out with a horny couple having chat room sex, but it's just really cringy sexting. And not even like funny haha cringy, I'm talking makes your skin kinda crawl. They bring on a sex therapist to tell us that sex is a normal part of every relationship, and that this is completely normal, and as a gamer, I can't really argue with her. So Cynthia, the lead woman, decides to spice up their little chat room sex by handcuffing herself to a chair and putting duct tape on her mouth. Not in that order, but yes. Then a burglar breaks in, and while this might feel like a setup to the worst porno you're ever gonna see, believe me when I say this, it's about to get really fucking gross and sickening. So the dude steals all their shit, and then he gets up close in Cynthia's face and proceeds to talk. While it might not sound that bad, this man has halitosis, and the show describes it like,
His breath smells like something that comes out of the wrong end of a large farm animal.
Cynthia, after smelling this rank-ass dude's death breath, fucking starts puking. But because of the tape, even though you can kind of see it coming up around the sides, holds back her vomit and she starts choking on it. And she dies. Her lungs fill up with her own puke and she dies. That's not choking, that's drowning at this point. She drowns in her own puke. Usually in 1000 Ways to Die, it's the bad person that gets the comeuppance, like when a dude stole a handicap spot and fucking died for it. But nope, this was a good person. Well, cringe I guess can be the crime of the day, but this was a genuinely good person and the burglar got away. And it wasn't like well, at least it was a quick death. No, this was drowning in your own puke. That ain't a quick death. You're conscious the whole time. This segment came out in 2009. I would have been 7 at the time. Could you imagine a 7-year-old you watching this? Kinda makes it stick in your mind forever. But anyways, I've talked enough about this. I gotta conclude this episode. So 1000 Ways to Die was a weird show that I'm surprised got 6 seasons. From its hilarious deaths, to its terrible acting, to its mixed reviews, it stands as an odd point in late 2000s programming. I know there were a lot more gruesome deaths that it could have covered, like Bad Max or Golden Diangle, but I chose these three because they illustrated the points I wanted to talk about in the beginning. Anyways, I've been Amos, stay in school kids, and game responsibly.